The Coffee Table Review. The Coffee Table. A meditation on the horrors of parenting. No spoilers, then I'll give a warning, and then it'll be spoilers from then on out. Oh boy. This film goes there. This is one fine piece of Spanish melodrama. Tragidrama? This movie is a meditation on the horrors of parenting and a psychological metaphor on the way having children can create division within a marriage. This movie is affecting. It's tense. It's an experience. It's well done. One of those movies that I can say, wow, that was well done, and I don't care if I ever see it again. In fact, I'm gonna make sure I don't. And I love rewatching movies with friends that haven't seen them, or with a new significant other. Not this one, baby. Honey, you're gonna have to go it alone. The Coffee Table is a 2022 Spanish film directed by Calle Casas and starring Stefania de los Santos and David Perea, two actors I'd never heard of before. The cast is excellent, and the little real-life moments of preparing a meal, sharing a meal with family, bickering with a sibling, neighbor, or significant other, all were really well done, well written, and well acted. We open at a furniture store with our main characters, a couple who have just had a baby, picking out a coffee table. There is much bickering over the item, as the wife finds the table to be ugly, but the husband says he has not been able to have any choices in anything since they've had the baby, and she agreed that he could pick out the coffee table. There is a lot of back and forth, and it does seem as if this couple's relationship is not built on solid ground. There's a suggestion that he didn't want the baby, or at least wanted to have it later on, postponing it. But things soften between them as the story unfolds. She relents and he chooses the table they've been bickering over. The salesman claims that it's an excellent choice, a vintage table, and that the glass tabletop is unbreakable. They get home and we meet their neighbors, a mother and teenage daughter. The daughter secretly obsesses over the husband and is covertly trying to pressure him into admitting feelings for her. Later, the husband's brother and girlfriend show up. And that's all I'm going to say about the proceedings. Now, problems do arise related to the table. It's not supernatural. The table doesn't release any demons. It's not possessed. It's not a gateway to something supernatural. We're in very grounded territory with this film. Things I liked the lighting. It was excellent naturalistic lighting, which can be very hard to pull off, but it looked great. The production design was excellent as well. The tension, and this is the most notable thing about this piece, and probably what you've heard other people talk about if you've heard other reviews. The tension that builds throughout this film is worthy of Hitchcock. A question is established early on in the first act, and for the rest of the film you are waiting for that other shoe to drop. There's really nothing else you can focus on. It's interesting in the themes that it addresses. You won't find in anything coming out of Hollywood today. Moments like where one of the female characters talks about being a mother as being one of the most important things she's ever done. That being a mother is sublimely important to her. In contemporary Western culture where motherhood and raising children seems like it's almost derided, this was a refreshing change. I gotta comment on the music. Excellent. Reminiscent of Tito La Riva of The Plugs, a 1980s LA-based Mexican-American punk band. Tito La Riva maybe is more known for scoring Repo Man. So if you like the Repo Man soundtrack, or more specifically the scoring, which I love, then you might really like Bambiquina. Bambiquina is the musical group that does the scoring and you can hear it throughout the film. The name of the band is Bambiquina, very reminiscent of Repo Man. I'll put a link in the description below. People have mentioned that it's a dark comedy. I think the only way that one could find some humorous moments is if you see this in a theater with an audience, which I did not get to do. The pacing for the first half of the film is really slow. A fairer, kinder assessment might say deliberate. But I'm an American, and even though I do love independent and sometimes experimental films, I don't really have the patience for narratives that unfold in real time, with characters making unrealistic choices and not behaving in ways that a rational person would, even under the same duress. Once I realized where this film was going after the first act, it started to move a little more quickly. But only after the realization that this isn't a chase movie. It's not an action ride. It's not a thriller. It's way more of a slow boil. And that's all I'm gonna reveal about that. Spoilers.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
From this point on, here be spoilers. One of the strengths of the film is one of my biggest problems with it. However, a change to this plot point and it's a completely different film. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't want an artist to alter a very affecting piece of work. I'll just say that I didn't find it entertaining. And if I were making this, I would have gone in a different direction. But it is not my work. It belongs to Kaye Casas and the filmmakers, and they made an extremely arresting piece. Now, here's the major spoiler. It's the plot point that the entire film revolves around. The mother goes shopping, leaving the baby with the husband. While she's out, the baby cries, wails, and the father is holding the baby, consoling it. He's wandering around the house, comforting the baby, trying to get it to stop crying. He goes around a corner, off camera. Then we hear a smash, and the baby is no longer crying. We don't know what happened, but the aftermath is the baby is dead. Turns out that glass top was not unbreakable. It seems as though, perhaps in a fit of anger, he smashed the infant against the tabletop, but we don't know, and he certainly never seems like that kind of person. But we don't ever get to see or know what happened. He's got a cut to the arm, blood everywhere. The baby is decapitated. The baby's head rolls under a chair, although we don't see or know any of this until much later in the film. The father is in shock. It's the only way to describe it. His behavior is somewhat bewildering because he doesn't call for an ambulance or any kind of help. And here, the pace really grinds to a halt, as, in real time, he sits, kneels, shakes, searches around the broken glass, acting with no sense of urgency at all. To be fair to the audience, we don't learn of the decapitation until later in the film, and that the baby's head has rolled under a chair and the father has been too afraid or shaken to gather it. Father cleans up the mess, puts baby in his crib, and stalls the mother when she returns, claiming that the baby has finally gone to sleep. They prepare a meal for supper with his brother and vegan girlfriend. The brother and vegan girlfriend arrive. We dine. Mother reveals how much being a mother means to her. Brother reveals that he and the girlfriend are also with child. At this point, the father almost comes unglued. He retreats to the baby's room. Brother goes to confront him, and here the brother learns of the baby's death. We go the entire second act without anyone else learning of the tragedy, and this appalling event hangs over everything until this moment. Yet we are still waiting for the main event, the mother learning this truth, and how that will tear their lives apart. There are a few moments of impressionistic filmmaking that make it seem as if the father is hallucinating, or maybe having a mental lapse or breakdown. He's imagining or seeing things that aren't there. This made me think that maybe the baby is fine and this is all happening in his head. But no. The film ends with the neighbor's daughter bursting in, as she threatened to do earlier, to force the issue with the father, trying to get him to admit that he has feelings for her, which he doesn't. She has her dog with her, and you can guess where this goes next. Dog gets away from her and beelines it to the chair, grabbing the baby's head, revealing to the mother the awful truth. It's all played straight, sad, dramatic, horrifying. Mother and father off screen jump from the balcony to their deaths. We end with police wrapping up the scene, brother in back of the car in shock. All he keeps repeating, the coffee table, the coffee table, the coffee table, the horror, the horror. And that's the coffee table. Once I realized where this was going, I was praying for demons, an exorcist, murderers,
a terrible flood, locust,
Satan,
anything. Dead baby? Ugh. And we're waiting for the whole film for Mom's realization to come to light? It was really depressing. Kudos for the heavy tension and the metaphoric light it shines on the deep-seated fears that come with becoming a parent. Maybe it's just where I'm at in my life. Maybe I'd have loved this when I was 27. But I'd rather not spend 90 minutes waiting for a grim, destructive secret to be revealed to destroy a mother's life. It made me long for Alex de la Iglesia's Day of the Beast. I can't say I recommend it. The tension's phenomenal, and if you're interested in film, and in film giving you an arresting experience, then this might be for you. But this movie is basically a baby killed, and then the rest of the movie, over an hour, you're waiting for a husband to reveal this horrible truth to his wife. It's an interesting case study of a movie, but not as fun as Spider-Man. Thanks for clicking in.
What you got in the trunk?
Oh, you don't want to look in there.